What's going on, everyone? So the Milwaukee Bucks just keep getting worse and worse. So Damian Lillard is now in concussion protocol, and he is expected to miss today's game, against the Toronto Raptors. Now, not only is this just game, period, but it's the first in-season tournament game. So one, it counts towards your record. Two, it counts towards the cup. In most cases, you'd be like, oh, Milwaukee is just going to run through the Toronto Raptors, especially with how bad they are this season. Part of that is due to injuries. Part of that is like no one really expected them to be a contending team or anything like that. Yet they have the same record, right? Both teams have only won 2 games. One is 2-8, one is 2-9. And I don't think anyone would be shocked if the Toronto Raptors actually end up beating the Milwaukee Bucks today. I don't think anyone would be surprised whatsoever. I will be shocked if Giannis is a Milwaukee Buck at the start of next season. I don't know if he'll demand a trade this season. I think he'll ride out this season. Could be wrong, right? It's not out of the possibility that he requests a trade around the trade deadline, especially if they're a disaster. Like, let's say they're not even a play-in team or they're barely a play-in team. I could see Giannis being like, get me out of here. But I do think he'll probably finish this season out. I think he'll ride out the season just in kind of a good faith way. And then I think in the offseason, the Milwaukee Bucks will end up having to trade him. Reports came out that Milwaukee has no intentions to trade him unless Giannis wants out. If he says, hey, I want out of here, they will do him the kindness of allowing him to be traded where he wants to go. And you're going to get an insane package. You're going to get an insane return. Personally, I think either way Milwaukee should trade Giannis, and I think that they should do it this season by the trade deadline because I think you'll get more than you will in the offseason. Because I think, one, you're going to have a lot of teams kind of trying to restructure and figure stuff out. Now, obviously, every team in the league is going to be trying to go after Giannis. There's really only a few teams that are probably, one, he's going to want to go to, and two, that are actually going to have the assets and pieces to probably go trade for him, unless he just like really forces his way to like a Miami or something like that, right? But I think if you're the Bucks, I think you look and at least start. You don't have to trade him, right? You can start shopping him, and you don't have to trade him. But I just think that there will be teams that go, man, we're close, right? Like we're right there. Let's go get Giannis and go, and maybe he'll be the one that tips us, like the Warriors, right? The Warriors might look at it and go, man, like we go get Giannis, we're winning a championship this season and potentially next season. And even if we don't win this season, at least we got Giannis now to kind of build that half year or whatever of chemistry and stuff with Steph in this roster. And then we can kind of retool and figure out what we need in the offseason, right? Like I can see teams being like that of like, man, we kind of get we get a jump start on the Giannis plus our guy type situation. I also think Giannis would be more than happy to be in a team like Golden State, something like that. I just think the Warriors like if Giannis wants to win another championship, go to Golden State. I think him and Steph, one, Steph is better than Dame. Two, we know Giannis at least interested in being that. Like Dame does not want to be in Milwaukee. He never did. He wanted to go to Miami. And he's made it abundantly clear that he is not happy in Milwaukee, that he doesn't want to be in Milwaukee. And Giannis and him have no interest in building any type of relationship, any type of chemistry, any type of camaraderie. I mean, they didn't even work out or take the time to work out. No, we were both busy. Like, nonsense. You couldn't have taken a week at some point and just get to know, even just go hang out, have a drink, whatever, right? Go grab a slice of pizza or something, right? Like, anything, literally anything. They're making no effort. Now, this could end up being sort of a blessing in disguise because, look, the Bucks are actually better when it's either one or the other, right? When it's just Giannis and not Dame, the Bucks are actually better. And then vice versa, when it's just Dame and not Giannis, the Bucks are actually better than when the two of them are together. They just don't work, right? And it's just a lot of like it's the perfect example of like two names don't always mesh. Right? You can't just throw names on the back of the jersey on a team and expect them to win, right? And I just think that this may be a chance to kind of look at. They never should have traded. Like, Giannis put the pressure on Milwaukee. I don't blame Milwaukee for the Dame trade. I don't. Giannis put the pressure on Milwaukee. I just think, one, they traded the wrong person. They should have kept Drew Holiday, right? Because he solves like everything that they need right now. Point of attack defense. He's also healthier than Chris Middleton. I just think him and Dame would have made much more sense. Him as your third guy is already proven. I just think that would have been a better just team overall, right? But I also think that they never should have went and got Dame. I just think that their problem was they were an old team that needed to get younger. And instead, they traded for an aging star. And Dame, yes, he still has moments where he's great. He still is a guy that go get you buckets. Right? But he's not who he used to be. He's not as efficient as he used to be. Now, is part of that just him in Milwaukee? Right? Is he just like, it just doesn't work, right? Like you see it all the time. Like guys will be terrible in one spot, go to another place, and they're just brilliant again, right? Like if he's in Miami, is this the version of Dame that we get, or do we get a very different version of Dame? I think personally, I just think you tear it down, and I think you do it sooner rather than later, right? I think the problem is Milwaukee just doesn't have their picks or anything like that, right? Like going forward, so it's just like you're kind of in a tough spot. But I just think you got to bite the bullet. You're going to get a ridiculous return for Giannis, right? You are. You're going to get probably a historically great return. And then for Dame, I just think you get as much as you can. You're not going to get some crazy package for him, but I do think you could probably get a young player or two plus a couple first. Like, I think a team like Miami would still go after Damian Lillard. Right? And I think Dame still makes a lot of sense for Miami. They need that bucket getter. They need that guy. I also think Dame would get to just be able to be Dame in Miami, where he has to kind of be this other version in Milwaukee, right? Like Jimmy and Bam are like the best stars at just doing the dirty work, right? Like neither of them really care. Hey, whether we score 3 or we score 30, right? As long as we win and we're willing to do everything else, right? So Dame, I think, could just have the freedom to just go get you buckets. And so I think Dame could kind of play more of like Portland Dame rather than like him having to kind of like you go, I go with Giannis at times. So I do think that would be a benefit for him. But I do think there are a couple teams that would end up taking Dame where you could get a decent return. You could get a decent package. However, Middleton you're probably stuck with. I don't see a team going and trading Middleton, right? Or being like, oh yeah, let's sign up for that. So I think you're probably stuck with him. If you can ship Giannis to a team like the Thunder and just get, every draft pick they've ever had, and then go, or a team like the Warriors and go get like a Moses Moody, maybe a Pod and Jonathan Kuminga plus a bunch of firsts. Right? I think that's a good return, and then whatever salary you have to take on, and then flip Dame. Can you get like a Jaime Jaquez and Ware or whatever? Like, can you get a couple young guys from them? And now you kind of have this. Okay, we got nice young core and foundation. Right, and then all the vet guys that you have, you just kind of keep and just deal with. Brook Lopez, you try to sell him to the highest bidder. If somebody's willing to take Chris Middleton, you sell Chris Middleton. I just think Milwaukee is cooked. I think this is the last time you're going to see Giannis in a Bucks jersey, and I think it's probably the last time you see Damian Lillard in a Bucks jersey this season. I'm talking about. Obviously, that could change. Maybe they go on some crazy run. I just don't see it. I think this is who they are. I think their coaching's terrible. I'm not a fan of Doc Rivers. Never have been. I've been very outspoken about it. The guy has done less with more. When usually the conversation is, man, this guy does more with less than anybody, right? But that's like Doc Rivers is literally the opposite. The only time he's ever won was with the team that you or I could have coached and still won a championship. Like they didn't need a coach. That's how good that team was. And they still only won one championship. Yeah, they went to 2 finals, but they still only won one championship. Right? I feel like he doesn't make good adjustments. His rotations are awful. Right? Like I don't know why he has this just perception and reputation of like being a quality, one of the better head coaches in the league. He's just not. He just isn't. It's reality. Like, I just think Milwaukee's made every wrong move down the way. I don't blame them for at least trying, because there's a lot of teams that don't even try. A lot of teams that could care less. They're fine being mediocre. They're fine just like making as much money as possible. They don't care about winning product or anything like that. The fact that the Bucks actually tried, put in an effort, you got to at least give them some credit, but I think it's time to move on. Now, I think you just talk to Giannis, go, hey, where do you want to go? We'll do our best. We're not just going to give you away, but we'll do our best to send you where you want to go, right? Like, pick your team. If we can work something out with them, give us a list of a couple teams, but if we can send you to your, like, what's your preferred, star the team that you want to go to the most, right? Rank it 1 through 5 or whatever. And we'll try to send you to, your first choice and then kind of make our way down the list. And if we can get you to one of those teams, we will, right? Like, I think you have the hard conversation now. I think you do it this season. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you kind of mixed in the middle? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.